Hi Year 9. Today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about English and in particular what you can expect from English as you head into your GCSE years. So firstly, all students study GCSE English Language and English Literature, and that's both at Henry Box and across the country. Studying English is a real opportunity to engage with a range of fiction and non-fiction texts, and there'll often be things that you haven't come across yet during Key Stage 3. You'll also get to discuss and explore the world around you. Often texts open doors to ideas and discussions and explorations that perhaps you wouldn't have come across ordinarily. So it's there to help you explore the world. There's also an opportunity to write creatively, particularly in GCSE English Language. There's a chance to write descriptions, narrative stories, and also non-fiction text, so things like articles, essays, and so on. Finally, as a core subject, English is really, really important for your future opportunities. So what will you study next year? So for English language, you'll look at a range of fiction and non-fiction texts. We'll focus on writers' attitudes and perspectives, their use of language, the effect on the reader, all of the skills that you've used so far and that you've learned so far in Key Stage 3 and will help you work towards some of the things that you need to do for English language at GCSE. There's also, as I've mentioned, creative writing. For English literature, you look at a Shakespeare text, a 19th century text, some poetry and a modern play. And at the moment, you can see the images there on the screen. These are the texts that we currently study. So right now we're studying Macbeth, A Christmas Carol and In Spectacles. And the anthology you can see there is a selection of poetry that's provided to us by the exam board. And at the moment, the theme is love and relationships. So how will you be assessed? For language and literature, your assessment comes at the end of Year 11. So from September, everything that you do in Year 10 and Year 11 is working towards that point. English language is split into two exam papers and they're both worth 50%. The first one gives you an unseen extract and some questions, and then you're asked to write a description or a story. And for the second paper, you're given two unseen literary non-fiction extracts. So that's things like a letter, a diary entry, or something like that. And you have to answer some questions on those two extracts. And then you get asked to do a piece of discursive writing, which, as I've mentioned, is something like an article or a leaflet or an essay. In English literature, there are also two papers, but you can see there that they're split slightly differently. So paper 1 is worth 40% and covers your Shakespeare text and your 19th century text, and paper 2 covers your modern play and the poetry anthology. Now, the reason that paper 2 is worth 60% is because there's an extra little bit at the end of paper 2 where you look at some unseen poetry. So what skills and qualities will you need when you're studying English next year? You'll need to have an inquiring mind. It's really important that you are curious when it comes to English. You'll need to be creative, and that's both for the creative writing aspects of the course, but also to respond creatively to texts as well. You'll need to have an openness towards a range of texts and ideas. So as I've mentioned, texts quite often throw up some interesting or controversial ideas, and one of the jobs we have in our English lessons is to kind of pick those apart and explore them in a bit more detail, and being open to that is super important. Above all, you'll need to enjoy analysis. Analysis is at the heart of what we do. So when we read a text, we don't just take it at face value. We think about what the writer might have meant or what their message might be, and we'll explore it to a deeper level. And finally, you need to ask questions. So English is one of the subjects where there isn't really a right or wrong answer most of the time, and asking questions helps us to develop our thinking and to explore what we're reading in more detail. So I hope that's given you some key information about what to expect next year in English. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Thanks for listening.